Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan and I'm a 24 years old photographer, videographer and graphic designer from Italy. Well, actually I'm living in Lisbon, so I'm from Portugal, but whatever, I was born in Italy, so I'm Italian and you can surely hear it by my accent. Yeah, for sure. This is the first video that I make talking in English and yeah, I thought that it could have been fun for you, not for me. So yeah, I hope this is informative and funny as well. Well, actually, I've been thinking lately that in Italy we don't have that kind of enormous community around Micro Four Thirds users, so users of Lumix, Olympus and Xiaomi, and for Blackmagic is something different because usually Blackmagic are for professionals only, so yeah, it's different. And I've been shooting with Lumix for 3 years now, so I think that it's kind of my favorite system around, so yeah. All of this to say that, well, maybe talking in English I can reach a worldwide Micro Four Thirds community. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I hope so. And I'm sure that this is the longest intro ever, but it was necessary. In my opinion, it was necessary, in my opinion. So, what are we gonna talk about today? Come si... Rullo di tamburo. Drum roll. Okay. So, what are we gonna talk about today? Well, I sold my Lumix 12 to 35 f2.8. The super neat pro fixed aperture, ultra sharp even in the corners, professional grade cinematic lens, Hollywood cinema, Los Angeles, everything. Because since the first moment I got my hands on a Micro Four Thirds camera, my first camera, the Lumix G7, I heard people on the net, of course, because in Italy, as I said, we don't have that kind of community, talking about how magnificent this lens was and how it was supposed to have like several primes inside one special lens. So, being poor, I used for the first year only my 14 f2.5, my 25 f1.7 and my 45 f1.8 made by Olympus. Then, at the beginning of 2019, I bought a used 12 to 35 and sold the 14 and the 25 that I really liked. And from the beginning of 2019 to mid 2020, I bought, used and sold several lenses like the 12 to 32, the 20mm f1.7 by Lumix and the 45 to 150 by Lumix. The lens I used most though was not the 12 to 35 because I paid it so much money, in my opinion, like 650 euros for a used lens. So yeah, I was afraid of using it for something that was not work related, because if I had ruined it or broke it, at least I would have thought, well, I was using it for commercial work, so it's like, yeah, it's a tool to do this kind of work, and yeah, it's pretty normal that you use tools, you ruin tools, and then you break them, and yeah. I was saying work because I worked as a freelance photographer, videographer, and graphic designer for 2 years, from 2018 to 2020 to now. Actually, I'm still a freelancer because I'm always in a state of mind of starting new projects, working with new people, new clients, doing yeah, something new, okay. But as I said before, I just moved to Lisbon and my work here is really different. It's something non-photography or videography related. So yeah, at the moment I'm not the freelancer I used to be in Italy, okay. Yeah, as I said before, I'm working here at Airbnb, but I'm gonna talk about it in another video, so I'm a bit full and I only have time to go out and shoot sometimes, shoot videos for YouTube like this and yeah, things like this. So the main problem with the 12 to 35 is the fact that yeah, it is so professional and so standard that it gets boring, in my opinion. And it's sharp, yeah, very sharp for both photos and videos, but at the same time it is nothing special. Let's get to the most shallow point ever, the aperture. Well, pun not intended, but f2.8 is not enough to have a tiny bit of shallow depth of field, and not even to separate subjects a bit from the background, just yeah, just a bit. So yeah, forget about it. At 35 millimeters you get some kind of separation, but you have to remember that 35 millimeters on micro four thirds is 70 millimeters on full frame equivalence, so yeah, it's pretty obvious that at 70 millimeters you should get some kind of separation. But we have to remember that we're talking about micro four thirds, so this rant about the shallow depth of field is tied to the smaller sensor, and we all know that. So yeah, anyway, it's something important, and yeah, we all like that kind of look. So if you buy a lens like the 12 to 35, yeah, I think that you should get a bit of this. And yeah, while I know that on micro four thirds lenses and bodies on micro four thirds system, the shallow depth of field branch, okay, this topic is always yeah, we all know that it's not possible to have the same shallow depth of field, the same separation from the background as we have with the APS-C sensor or full frame sensor, okay? But the fact here, the point is that I don't see relevant differences between the 12 to 35 and lenses like the 12 to 32 kit lens or the 14 to 140, or yeah, and that's why I think that f2.8 is already too much when it comes to aperture for a pro lens. Then of course the focus by wire is not the best if you have to do some manual focus action. So long story short, the 12 to 35 is good for its IBIS and sharpness, and the fixed aperture is good just because it's fixed and your image doesn't get dark when you zoom, okay? The weight and overall dimensions and ergonomics are good, but yeah, honestly I find them good on yeah, most of the micro four thirds lenses that I used and that I know, and also of micro four thirds camera bodies. Yeah, the ergonomics is like the most relevant point in using micro four thirds system, in my opinion. One of the most relevant points, of course. And yeah, as a lot of professionals say, the 12 to 35 is a workhorse, and it's reliable, it's efficient, but at the same time it's so standard. Maybe the fact that I was moving to Lisbon and leaving my job as a freelance pushed me a bit more towards selling it, even though I was thinking about doing so for a long time. Yeah, like my gimbal, the 12 to 35 was that part of the equipment that I considered necessary, even though I didn't really like using it. And I'm not saying that I didn't like using that lens at all, because I shot a lot of yeah, commercial projects with that lens. So yeah, a lot of my commercial work was based on that lens, but I wasn't tied to that lens emotionally, and I think that it didn't give another perspective to my works. Just a standard lens to do standard work, I think. That happens to cost a lot more than other lenses that I consider better. When I will sell my gimbal, that unfortunately is still at home in Italy, I'll tell you why I consider it as boring and unnerving as the 12 to 35, but yeah, that's another story. So thanks for watching this video, and hit like, comment, share, follow me on Instagram. I leave in the info box my Instagram, my website and everything. And don't forget to subscribe on this yeah, channel. And yeah, I feel like I will be making some more photography related content in English. So stay tuned guys, and stay safe, and see you here on YouTube.